No pressure, but the Polestar 3 might be the vehicle upon which the fate of the entire electric car brand Polestar rests. Polestar is part of the Geely family, a Chinese conglomerate that also owns Volvo. It evolved from Volvo's performance arm to a standalone entity devoted to making luxury electric vehicles. Think of it as a Chinese-owned, Scandinavian-rooted, premium startup brand aimed directly at Porsche. Ambitious? Yes. Especially given that Polestar has been subsisting with a lineup of one. The Polestar 2 electric sedan, a low-volume car in a declining segment propelled by a powertrain many consumers remain reluctant to embrace. But the cavalry is on the way for the North American and European markets in the form of the Polestar 3 midsize two-row SUV and the smaller 5-passenger 2025 Polestar 4 SUV coupe. Both will be key to boosting Polestar's awareness, sales, revenue, stock prices, and the overall odds of surviving in a harsh environment for new electric nameplates. The first to hit our shores, and by far the most important, is the Polestar 3, which offers luxury and performance among its key attributes. The first batch of first edition models are arriving now, shipped from a plant in Hangzhou Bay, China. But that's just the first batch. The rest of the 2025 models will be built in the US at Volvo's plant in Charleston, South Carolina. That's been retooled to make EVs for both Volvo and Polestar. Pre-production models are already running down the line, and the production models will follow in July for deliveries to start in August. The 2025 Polestar 3 is a dual-motor SUV, which means all-wheel drive, with 489 horsepower and an impressive EPA-rated range of 315 miles. The optional performance pack boosts the horsepower to 517, though range drops to 279 miles as a result. It's the first Polestar vehicle to be underpinned by Volvo's new dedicated electric vehicle platform, known as SPA2, Scalable Product Architecture. One utilized by Volvo's EX90 three-row electric SUV that's also being built in South Carolina. To find out how well the new Polestar SUV fares on the pavement, we traveled to Madrid, where we sampled a pre-production Polestar 3 that was largely production-ready save some software fine-tuning. Our base model evaluation vehicle came in Thunder, dark gray, on optional 22-inch forged alloy wheels. 21-inch cast alloys are standard. It has all the fixings for a good time behind the wheel, including a 50/50 weight distribution, dual-chamber self-leveling air springs with 3 ride heights, ZF adaptive dampers, and tires wider at the rear than the front. But arguably the biggest key to the Polestar 3's nimble driving experience is a mechanical torque vectoring rear axle from BorgWarner that Polestar says is a first for an SUV. The Polestar 3 is also the first EV in the US with this feature. The dual-clutch system can send all the rear motor's 361 lb-ft of torque to one wheel or split it between the left and right wheels in any ratio. Driving the outside will harder than the inside rotates the car through turns for big fun in performance mode. The rear axle disconnect only works in range mode. Opening both clutches to disconnect the rear motor improves efficiency and increases range by about 10%. Some nice, curvy roads outside Madrid showed off the dynamics and feistiness of this SUV that drives like a rear-wheel drive car, with minimal body roll, excellent acceleration, and a litheness that was quite exhilarating. As for the suspension over road imperfections, it sopped up most with ease, though we found the differences among the adjustable settings to be minimal. Steering is lighter than in the Polestar 4 for a more family-oriented buyer, but it was precise, direct, and very responsive. A nice change from the numbness many SUVs are saddled with. Play with the settings because unlike with the suspension, we noticed a big difference between light and firm. As for stopping the Polestar 3, its adjustable one-pedal drive mode really lets off when your foot leaves the pedal. There's also a creep mode that can be turned on or off. When you're not one-pedaling around town, a set of Brembo brakes provides smooth but effective stopping power without the harshness other EVs can exhibit. Motor and battery. The dual motors produce an aforementioned 489 horsepower in base models, with 620 lb-ft of torque on tap that can scoot the 3 from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds. Add the performance pack to boost that to 517 horsepower and 671 lb-ft of torque. The split is rear-biased with 361 lb-ft in the back and 310 lb-ft from the front motor. and 60 miles per hour only takes 4.5 seconds to arrive, according to Polestar. It's a slippery vehicle as well, with a drag coefficient of 0.29 that helps get its range past the 300-mile mark in the base model. The SUV has a 400-volt lithium-ion battery from CATL that's composed of 17 modules of prismatic cells. The chemistry is nickel-manganese cobalt with 111 kilowatt-hour capacity. Polestar says charging capacity is up to 250 kilowatts with a DC fast charger, taking the SUV from 10 to 80% charge in 30 minutes.